So then I lived on a couch for like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years? Wait, no.
Signed an NDA like years ago, but whatever. I just won't say
Just breaking
names.
laws left and right.
It's like low-key embezzlement, I guess.
What?
No, I lived out of the van for like 5 months. I had a van, but I was like, I don't want to drive this. This is my home. I gotta protect this shit at all costs. $500 bottles of wine. I'm like, I love this stuff. I'm 19.
Yeah.
I don't know shit. She's like, yada yada. Oh, me and my boyfriend like live around here. Like we should all hang out. What was it that you wanted to ask me? I'm like, are you hiring? And then I got hired there.
We gotta do an intro for this podcast. This is the Soup and Salad podcast.
Yes.
Shot in the greatest bar of all time. You can figure it out if you dig deep enough.
In Brooklyn, New York.
Soup and Salad. It's called that because that's what we call a shot and a beer. This is my sister Julia. I'm Max. And
Hosted by Food 52. Shout out.
shout out Food 52. They somehow give us a bunch of money to sit around and drink and hang out with cool people.
Yeah, and so we essentially talk to anyone that has anything to do with food, or not really.
Or anyone who just
Yeah.
will accept the invite.
So people who are involved in the restaurant industry or involved in food media or just home cooks, we just want to hear the story.
So who's our first guest?
So our guest
Our guest
for
today.
today, who we just actually talked to for the last hour and a half, peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. We definitely also didn't do 2 in a row today.
Yeah. So we just talked to the Moody Foodie on Instagram and TikTok, whose name is Fabrizio or Fab.
The Moody Foodie, not the Moody Foodie.
Yeah. Who had such an interesting story that I wasn't expecting,
I know.
honestly. He
Living in a van to
Yeah, from living in a van in LA when he was 18 in a gym parking lot to working at Chateau Marmont to then moving to New York and having like a huge food TikTok, Instagram presence.
so stick around for that.
And he was so funny.
Very funny.
I
laughed
was
way harder than
shocked.
I thought
I,
I was
know.
going to.
I wasn't shocked at him, but just like, it's always a pleasant surprise when someone just cracks you up for like an
every
hour.
guest is usually somebody that we sort of know.
Yeah.
But Fabrizio, I want to say it right. I feel like it's Fabrizio. Not
Yeah.
Fabrizio. Fuck. I want to be his friend, so I don't want to mess it up. 'cause
I
he's
know,
cool.
me too. Don't judge us, be our friend.
I know. But yeah, we've kind of known everybody, but he was the first guest where we didn't know much about him other than like he's got a good Instagram
Yeah.
following and makes great
Well, we had
videos.
both seen his content, like just
Right.
organically pop up on
Yeah.
our feeds.
But turns out very funny.
Very
nice.
funny.
Yeah.
He needs to like,
He needs his own podcast. He
Yeah.
shouldn't be hosting the podcast.
I know.
Should we just quit?
yeah. He needs to put, if you do follow him on TikTok or Instagram, which a lot of people probably do because he has like 1 million followers on TikTok. He was saying that his manager is trying to get him to do more on-camera stuff, and we were like, totally agree.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
And he
anyway.
also just so happens to live not far from us, which is nice too.
That's true. Your best friend. We're just going to trick him into hanging out. That's what we do.
I know. We told him to come back later when the bar is actually open to hang out. He likes
He
to
was
sit.
drinking a little bit. He's going to do like a New York Mag interview. He's going to be kind of tipsy.
I know. He's gonna be drunk. It's like 11 in the morning, and he's like, on my way here, I was just thinking about a beer sounds good.
It's Friday.
I mean, cheers.
It's a nice day.
Stay tuned for this episode.
Yeah.
And like and subscribe.
All right, we're supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Please.
Please.
Nobody's watching this besides our mom still.
Yeah.
So please like and
Cheers,
subscribe.
guys.
All right, cool.
And come hang.
All right, sick. We'll do a little intro action here. All right, so we're here with Fabrizio, the Moody Foodie, on Instagram. And I don't know, we just became friends on Instagram, and we're doing this podcast. So we thought, let's call up Fabrizio and see if he wants to join. And now here we are.
How'd you choose the name? I gotta get the origin story.
Okay, so there's someone else on Instagram that has the Moody Foodie.
Oh, shit.
And I did not.
Is yours just Moody Foodie?
It's the Moody.
The
Foodie.
Moody
But it's not because I'm a pretentious dickhead. But so I was with my roommates at the time. I was in my living room. I started doing this cooking shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should probably not use my name. I should probably come up with something catchy, right? I was watching Bob's Burgers, episode 7 from season 2.
So good.
There's a character named.
Timestamp?
There's a
Yeah.
there's a character named the Moody Foodie.
Yeah.
Played by Patton Oswalt.
Oh.
One of my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
I'm like, a nightmare. They're all taken.
Were you going
Yeah.
for like to be a food Instagram right out the gate? Like, is this?
Well, I already had like some like recipes up and like some videos.
Oh.
And so anyway, so I'm like drunk watching Bob's Burgers, and I'm on Instagram trying to like finally do like I should do like a more like it has to be a food page. It can't just
Yeah.
be like my personal page, right?
Yeah.
And I'm typing up names, and then I'm watching this episode. I'm like, oh, the Moody Foodie, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I type it up, and it's like Instagram's like already taken. And I'm just like, what if I add an E? So I
The
add an
Moody
E,
Foodie.
and it's like welcome to Instagram. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit. And then so then I find
Who's
out
got the Moody Foodie?
this other big Instagram account.
Oh,
And
really?
I
Wait,
feel
is it Tony?
it's Tony.
Wait.
Is it? No, are you
okay,
serious?
do you know what I
Because the call sheet?
Yeah, okay, so
And like when I first started,
Oh,
there's some beef in the comments of like, oh, you're like taking someone else's name, and I was like, I mean like Bob's Burgers though. So
Yeah.
I just love the name.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
fucking love Bob's Burgers. Shouts
Yeah.
out to those people.
Yeah.
yeah, when we were creating the call sheet, like me and him both follow you on Instagram, so like I knew what your Instagram was,
Yeah.
but I was just like typing it out to send to our producer to add you to, and I must have typed the wrong one because she had put Tony on the call sheet.
Fire.
And Max was like, "Wait, who's Tony?"
So if I let my attorneys know you guys are gonna get like a cease and desist. You guys are fucked. I'm gonna take this bar. For
Honestly, I'm
damages.
surprised we made it 4 episodes in. All right, so you started on Instagram like doing recipe videos. Obviously, like this is now it's been like a couple years, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back. So
When were you born?
yeah,
Born in the city of Portland, Oregon, 1997.
okay, so
It was a
we
nice spring day.
interesting. Do you like Portland?
I love Portland. I lived in LA after graduating high school.
Yeah.
I said fuck college. I was gonna go to art school. Decided not to, and lived in LA for a while. And I almost moved back, but then I decided to move to New York instead.
Smart move,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, Portland, beautiful.
Yeah.
New York, a lot cooler.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about New York and LA? Like, how do you feel about
New
LA?
York all the way?
Yeah.
LA, I only went because it was like a geographical decision
Yeah.
of like what is the biggest creative city closest to where I grew up,
Got it.
Yeah.
and moved to LA. But like New York was always the goal.
Because you were there for quite a while, right? In LA?
Yeah,
I mean,
no, dude, fucking the salad days, man. It was struggling, dude.
Really? How long were you there?
So I moved. So again, I was gonna go to art school. Decided not to.
Yeah.
And then I sold a bunch of shit, bought a van, and I told my mom I think 3 days before I went, and just drove to LA.
Set them out.
Yeah, I was like, fuck it, I just want to be like an artist. I want to be like, I just wanted to have a creative job, right?
Yeah.
Were you just gonna live out of the van, or were you like,
I
I'm
lived out
gonna?
of the van for like 5 months.
Really?
It's crazy, man. A lot of canned food.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
god.
sucked. Yeah. No, I lived out of the van for like 5 months and didn't know anyone in the city. Just a lot of walking. They had a van, but I was like, I don't want to drive this. This is my home. I gotta protect this shit at all costs. And I didn't know anything, man. I was 18. Meanwhile, I'm on Instagram, and everyone's like, "Woo, like college, like." I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just in a van, just watching Taxi Driver on this like portable laptop thing. And
Wait, so like, what year is this?
I graduated high school 2015.
Okay.
I'm 26 now. And yeah, man, I was just living in that thing. I would always go to this little shop called Amoeba.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Record store.
Yeah.
Of course.
And I would just go buy like a new movie and then just like walk back to my van, just like get home, close the fucking sliding door, and just like watch movies and eat canned food.
Was this like a renovated van or is it just like a regular
Oh,
old
yeah.
van?
So people ask me this all the time when I say
Yeah.
this, and they're like, "Oh, so you're like one of those
Like a glamping thing?
nomads?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I'm like a distributing van. It's like
Just like a white van.
it's
No,
just like a white van. I mean, it had carpet, which was sick.
Yeah,
in
the
terms
luxury.
of
What do you mean?
sleeping surfaces.
We had carpet.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I had carpet.
Was there someone else living in there?
No.
Okay.
But like, so when I first landed in LA, I was like, I need to park this thing long term.
Yeah.
So I go to this 24-hour boxing gym. It's the Hollywood, I think it's called the Hollywood Gym.
Yeah.
On between Sunset and Hollywood off of La Brea.
Yeah.
And I show up, and I thought it was gonna be this big gym where I could just like sneak into the parking lot, leave it there, just live. I show up. The parking lot is literally like the size of this like bar.
Yeah.
Okay? So I go inside, and I go up to this old like Eastern European woman who's the owner.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, so I'm this guy. I'm this kid. I have this dream. I have a van. You can see it. It's parked over there. Also, can we hurry this up? The meter's running. I have no money. Can I live in your in your parking lot.
Yeah.
And she was just like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, yes, I know.
Yeah.
And then she's like, no women, no drugs, no sex. Consider me your grandmother. And I was like, done, done, and done. I don't know any women.
Oh my
I
god.
can't afford drugs, and I also I don't know how to drink it. I'm 18. And
I don't know how to drink.
yeah, I don't know shit about anything. So I just lived there for like 5 months.
Oh
Yeah,
my
wow.
god.
In the parking lot, you were able to stay, and she was cool.
Yeah, she let me stay there. I paid like a very minimal. It was like $100 a month.
Wow.
As like a parking lot rent fee.
Yeah.
But the worst like
crazy.
stipulation that I had, she was like, you gotta move the van at 6 a.m. every day.
What?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
for all the gym rats
Sure.
and whatnot. And I was like, all right. So my daily routine for like 4 or 5 months was I would just watch like a sad, lonely movie, and then I would wake up bright and early at 5:55 in the morning, drive the van up to somewhere. I also don't know LA, so I'm just gonna go up to the hills, I guess. Residential parking. So I'm just driving, and I'm a petite man, and I have a massive van, and I'm driving it up the Hollywood Hills, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't think they'll mind. It's like a gated house.
Yeah.
So I just leave my van there, and I would just eat canned food and then just walk around.
So
Cruise ride? Like, were you looking for a job? Were you
like,
kinda
what was the
working,
plan?
or-
Yeah, you
no
were like,
plan.
I
No
like
plan.
this life.
So I've always wanted to be
hanging out
like,
today.
so I've always wanted to be like a writer, or like I grew up like painting.
Right.
I wanted to maybe get into like film and TV. I just wanted a creative job.
Yeah.
Like I just had such a large disdain to this day for like being a suit in an office, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I would just like, I would go to the Starbucks off of Sunset Boulevard, and I would just sit there and I would like journal, and I'd be like, oh, maybe I'll like write a
At
script.
a Starbucks, not even like a local
The
coffee
Moody
shop.
Moody
No,
makes
no,
so
no.
much sense,
I'm
dude.
just sitting at a Starbucks. I'm like, I'm gonna come up with like the next big script. So if you ever saw me on the Starbucks on the Sunset in La Brea, if you ever, I was coming up with the next biggest script.
This is your
I came up
day
with
to
3
day.
pages in like the past 10 years.
What was the plot of the original script?
Check this out. It's about this guy.
This is you could do this to camera. You might be able to.
It's about this guy that moves to LA
Oh my.
and doesn't know what the fuck to do.
in a van.
So I got like probably 4 pages in.
Wow.
horrible.
In 5 months.
Yeah, page a month.
But yeah,
Yeah.
eventually at the gym, I just found these people, and I heard that I was like eavesdropping, and
Would you use the gym?
I would use the gym for like a shower and like charging my phone
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
bodily stuff,
Yeah.
and but I would never like lift stuff.
Yeah.
But I was just like hanging out at the gym, and I hear these I'm like eavesdropping on these people because I'm like waiting to talk to the front desk person, and they're just like blah, 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 yada yada. Oh, so glad that we got that roommate out. And I'm just like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I live in a van. Rooms open.
Yeah.
So they give me, they're like, all right, like we hung out, we kind of hit it off a bit. So it was a 1 bedroom with 3 other people living in it. So they offered me a couch.
Is that even better than a van?
Yeah,
Right,
honestly.
you know, I'm like, well, at least I get a roof over my head
That's
and running
true.
water.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I lived on a couch for like 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years? Wait, no.
Man.
And you moved to New York last year?
I moved to New York like a year. No. Well, okay. Then eventually, like the food stuff was going well.
Yeah.
Got some roommates during like the pandemic. Got my own apartment. Moved to New York. But after the van, I lived on a couch for like 4 years.
No way. And you
Yeah.
started filming the videos, like cooking
During-
videos in that
During
apartment?
the pandemic, I was still on the couch situation.
Wait.
No way. Wait.
Back up.
No, you have a lot of questions. And
you're-
Dating sucks.
But so wait, for 4 or 5 years,
Yeah, I'm
did you
sure.
ever think like, okay, maybe I'm gonna switch it up, or I mean, what? Because we were waiting, right? A little bit. You mentioned
Yeah.
earlier,
Well, I was like poor as shit, just like
right?
But-
taking acting classes and like waiting tables.
So
and
spending
shit.
all the money on classes.
Spent all the money on acting classes.
Yeah.
Spent all the money at the bars afterwards.
Yeah.
Underage drinking.
Yeah.
And also I like spent money on like parking tickets and shit.
Oh my
Just, like,
God.
horrible life expenses.
Yeah.
Terrible money.
Wait, so
And
how? So you're living with 2 other people in a 1 bedroom.
at one point it was 3 other
Three.
people.
And how many people were in the bedroom? How many people were in the living
One
room?
person was in the bedroom. I was on the couch, and 2 other guys were on the floor.
No way, dude.
Oh my god. Okay, so you're in the
2 of
situation.
them were in a band. One of them was like a wannabe actor, personal trainer, and then me.
Oh my god.
It honestly sounds like a classic kind of LA town.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was insane.
So were you all around the same age, or were they like?
So when I started living there, I was probably 18, maybe just turned 19.
Yeah.
One of them was 25, the personal trainer guy, and the other two were like between 28 and 30.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I'm just like bright-eyed, like dreams exist, right? And just like, can I have some of your wine? Like that was like me for like a few years.
Oh my god. A
Oh my
few
God.
years.
What do those guys do now? Are they still there?
Are they still there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. They never talk to
Yeah, I was like, I gotta go. I gotta go. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Just a 5-year-long slumber party.
So
That's insane.
Sounds kind of fun in a weird way.
it was kind of fun. Yeah. It was. I don't know. It was like there's a sense of camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So did you start doing the cooking videos in that apartment?
So I started cooking. So the
Right.
pandemic hit. So
Yeah.
I'm still there.
I feel like
Okay.
we gotta back up.
Yeah,
Just so
yeah,
yeah.
you get a job then.
Yeah.
And that's in restaurants?
So I'm working as a waiter throughout that whole time.
Got it.
First I was a barista. 'Cause
Okay,
I used to
classic.
work at Starbucks. I'm very
Did you
brand
work-
loyal.
You worked at Starbucks?
No, I worked at Starbucks like in high school, but so I was a barista. So I was like, I'm gonna get a barista job. Shouts out to Rise and Grind off of Wilcox and Hollywood. I got a job there, and it was great. Had a huge crush on the girl that worked there, and I used to like write there. And then I went up
God.
to ask her out, but then like in the process of me doing that, she's like, yada yada. Oh, me and my boyfriend like live around here. Like we should all hang out. I was like, oh, sick. And she's like, what was it that you wanted to ask me? I'm like, are you hiring? And then I got hired there. And I started working there. Never professed my love. I'm doing it now, I guess.
Are you hiring? What's her name?
Jessica.
Oh, if you're watching and you're single
If you're
now.
watching,
Look at what
hopefully
you
you
missed
guys
out
broke
on.
up. So just kidding. I hope you guys are happy. So I get a job at Rising Grind, and I'm working there, and I think things are going good. Right? Like got this job at the coffee shop, got this couch. Things are good.
Yeah. Got this
Dude, I
couch.
really made some. Like I got like a page, like half a page done on my script.
Yeah.
It's good, dude. Just fucking good. And I remember this really like East Coast guy comes in, and I had an audition because I also was dabbling in acting. And I remember I'm like reading the sides for this audition, and I have to do like a New York accent, right? And this guy, this regular comes in. We're gonna call him Hoboken.
Yeah.
Great guy. He was just like, imagine like Anthony Bourdain if he never made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy.
That's a
Yeah.
good description.
Yeah.
And so he comes in, he's like, hey kid, how you doing? And I was like, hey, could you help me read? Could you help me with like the accent, right? And he's like, yeah, of course. And then he starts asking me how things are going, right? Because he's a regular, we keep up a little bit. And and he's like, how much you making here? I'm like, oh, I'm making like $150. He's like, a day? It's not bad. I'm like, oh, a week. In tips. And he's like, Jesus. And he's like, come to my restaurant. He's like, he's like, come to my restaurant. You're going to give your application. We're going to get you a job as a waiter.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, I don't have any like waiting experience. He's like, lie. He's like, they're gonna call me. Like I'm hiring you. I was like, oh shit, all right, I'll lie. I grew up Catholic. So I was like, oh, this is crazy. And so that was like my transition into waiting tables.
Yeah.
And it was a high-end restaurant. It was at the Mondrian Hotel.
Oh,
Oh,
whoa.
Yeah, and I'm just this fucking guy
Yeah.
that's 18 or 19 at the time. I have no waiting experience. And I remember I sat down to have an interview with the GM at this like really nice like Sunset Strip hotel restaurant.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what are the 5 noble grapes? And I'm like, fucking, I don't know, $2 Chuck, dude. I have no idea.
Oh my god.
And he's like, Dave spoke very highly of you. Hoboken spoke very highly of you. Hoboken spoke very well. Whatever. I'm sure. Nice to see you, Dave. Thanks, man. You got me to New York, man. He's like, Hoboken spoke very highly of you, but you seem a little like you don't know shit. And I'm like, well, where I lack in expertise, I am very personable with the guests. And he's like, whatever, we'll go. And then just worked as like a busboy. Eventually became a waiter. I was just
Nice.
like selling like Opus One, like
Yeah.
$500 bottles of wine. I'm like, I love this stuff. I'm 19.
Yeah.
I don't know shit. I don't
Oh
know
my
anything.
god.
And yeah, and I just like ended up working at like nice restaurants. Like,
Wow, that is
going
crazy
out.
to go from like having no experience at all working at a coffee shop to working there. I mean,
Van de
I didn't know
couch
shit
to
about
high
food
end.
either.
Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't know you could eat octopus.
Yeah.
Oh my-
And I'm like peddling that shit like I,
you thought it was just for like aquariums.
yeah. I thought it was a pet. And yeah, it was just selling like great like foie gras. I had no idea what the fuck that was.
Oh my god. So wait, so did your like growing up, did your parents cook at all or like
So my parents both immigrated from Mexico.
Got
but and my dad worked all the time, but my mom, it was like I grew up jars, cans, and boxes.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, I still love that shit.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know anything about food. I never really appreciated food as like number one, like a culinary art, let alone like this like indulgent, delicious shit that you could enjoy.
How good it could really be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't even think I saw a fresh like vegetable until like 21.
Worked for the
22.
band though, I guess.
Yeah.
I grew up on like manwich and like
Yeah.
casseroles, you know what I mean? Which I still fuck with. I literally have a can of manwich in my phone right now. And like hot dogs and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just,
Sounds like you grew up in the Midwest, like
I
where
know,
we're
right?
from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I fuck with you. People.
Yeah.
I get the culture. Yeah.
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 You people.
Beanies and weenies.
Feel from Ohio.
Beanies and weenies. So I guess
Hot dogs and beans. Yeah.
Just
my life, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how it's been. Yeah, then I worked at this like nice restaurant. and
interesting.
just trying to keep up.
So did you just pretend like you knew what was going on for the most part? Did you ever get caught up in that?
Did you ever what?
Did you ever get caught up in like
Oh, my
faking it when
bullshit?
you were like serving it? Yeah.
All the time. I mean, these people like I'd serve these tables. Again, I'm like 19 when I
Yeah.
first started working there, and I'm just like talking about food, and tables would sometimes be like, you're wrong. I'm like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I'll get you another server. Let me bust your table instead. I'm better at that. But yeah, I just did that for a minute, and then eventually, like, one of the last service industry jobs I had before the pandemic was to the Chateau Marmont.
Oh shit! Wow, so
Interesting.
you really like
Oh,
rose
dude,
up.
I climbed. I climbed
Wow.
the ladder.
Yeah.
So was the like clientele just like awful? Like, did you like the people you work with, but the guests were just like snooty? Like, what was the vibe?
The
like?
people I worked with have always been great in every venue I've been. Well, I mean, except for some duds everywhere you go. But no, most of the people. I was actually talking to this buddy of mine. His name's Tomas. We used to have this shtick, right? And we eventually befriended this GM who would like take us every restaurant he'd go to.
Yeah.
So we're reminiscing on the phone. He still lives in LA. So we used to work at the Mondrian, and we kind of look similar. We look like brothers, truthfully. Like our faces look very similar. But he's like 6'3". I'm a petite guy. I'm like 5'7", 5'8" on a good day. But we used to get fucking loaded on shift, right?
Yeah.
We used to be a part of the brunch crew. And we used to sneak into the wine room, and they used to have these cases of Prosecco that they would use for the bottomless mimosas.
Yeah.
Trash Prosecco. They wouldn't even count the bottles; they would count the cases. It was
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They used to say that the orange juice was more expensive than the Prosecco. So we would just go in the wine. There's like the floor was littered with bottles at the end of our shift.
Oh my
And we
god.
used to have this like little shtick where tables would be like, "Are you guys brothers?" And it would be like a two-man show. Like, I'm the older one, even though I'm shorter. And, and we were just like drunkenly, just like slithering around the dining room. I don't know how. And then we just cut to we're at the bar grabbing post-shift drinks,
Yeah.
and our aprons are just full of wads of cash. We're like, what the fuck? How do we do
Oh
that?
my god.
And I was like, I don't know. I kind of miss working with
Yeah.
Brunch, 'cause we'd kind of have to like annihilate ourselves with
Yeah.
a shitty Prosecco to get through
Right.
it. But
So how
it's
many
fun.
years were you there?
I was at the Mondrian probably, I don't know, probably 2 years,
Okay.
and then I got fired.
Oh shit! What happened?
What happened?
Too much missing prosecco.
I don't know if I should say this, but so they used to have, it's like
We can-
low-key embezzlement, I guess.
What? What do you mean?
So we used to have these breakfast vouchers.
Yeah.
Because it was a hotel restaurant, right? So not just me, a lot of the staff used to do this. Basically, let's say you come in and you order like, I don't know, $30 worth of food. These breakfast vouchers for the guests would be like worth $30.
Yeah.
And let's say, you're just like, hey, I have these extra vouchers. I'm flying out today. Pay it forward, give it to someone else, whatever. So they're done. Now I have these loose $30 value breakfast vouchers.
Yeah.
Then let's say you come in and you have breakfast, but you pay in cash. I then transfer your tab.
Oh, to the
use
voucher.
the breakfast voucher, and I
And
pocket
keep the cash.
your cash.
Wow.
So me and all this staff,
Oh, no.
we're
You're running a whole
causing
operation.
a racket, man.
Oh my
It's
God.
crazy. But you know what? The company that the dining group that owned the restaurant, they were accused of money laundering and shit. So I was like, game recognizes game.
Yeah.
We're stealing from the thief at the right?
Yeah.
And and so we just did that for a long time, and then someone tattled. And we all got
snitch,
fucked, dude. We all got
No.
yeah, we all got fired.
Did they wipe the whole staff like a lot of people?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it was a
Clean
huge
house.
exodus of staff. It was
Oh
crazy.
my God.
Yeah,
Were people worried about like actually getting sued? I mean, I guess.
yeah, we were worried.
Yeah.
we were for sure worried. I couldn't
my
sleep for
God.
days.
Oh my
I was like,
God.
oh fuck, is the IRS gonna like audit me? I was like,
Did they know? Did they have any idea? Could they even prove how much you would have
How much
embezzled
could
at
it have
that
been? Was
point?
this over
Yeah.
like years? I mean, was it like
no. It wasn't over years. It was honestly over like a couple months.
Okay, so it could have only been like maybe a couple $1,000 tops,
yeah,
right?
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. For legal
still not
purposes,
good.
it was under 10,000.
Not a felony or whatever.
No, it was honestly literally like probably like a month or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
And and I would always call out of shifts, so it's not like I did it a lot.
Yeah.
And I always called that. I was too hungover.
Would you ever work at night or just like mostly brunch?
I was just like the guy that was like took all the undesirable shifts.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like 19, 20.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, I had no tenure in this.
have
fucking,
to,
Yeah.
I worked the grunt shifts. This is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know anybody, so I'm like, wow, this is amazing. What a beautiful restaurant. Yeah.
Free money
Dog
too.
leg, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm just like, wait, I just like take money home? This is insane. So shouts out to Hoboken, because I'm from 150 a week.
Yeah. Got a big pay raise with
had
that
to
scheme.
come, we had to come up. It was great. But yeah, we
So
all
we
got
did
fired.
that sever that relationship though?
No, because he severed the relationship with the restaurant. way
Oh,
before.
got it. Okay.
No, he was a cool guy. He honestly, if anything, he probably would have just been like, hey, just like keep it down.
Yeah.
He probably would have. He probably did it himself.
Okay.
Oh,
Whoa,
man.
that's a crazy story.
Right. So okay, so you get fired from there for
And you're still on the couch at this point.
Oh yeah.
When you were making more money waiting, why didn't you think about? Did you
Moving
want to
up.
move off the couch, or were you like, "This is chill"?
I think it was. I think it was just so easy.
Yeah.
And also like, I had never, like I was, I moved at 18. I'd never gotten my own apartment.
Right.
I didn't know how life worked. So in my mind, I'm like,
Kind of scary.
yo, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Even to this day, I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and so I was like, oh, like why not just stay here and like not worry about
Yeah.
that whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just like never did it. Never got around to it.
Yeah. But then it was a bold move to go just straight to New York.
I mean, well, by then I had gotten like my own apartment in LA.
So you did end up moving out of that
Yeah.
spot. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before New York.
Yeah. During the pandemic, so I worked at Chateau Marmont.
Yeah.
Right before the pandemic started.
Yeah. So how did you end up there?
One of the waiters
Oh,
who worked
right.
at the Mondrian, he eventually was like, I don't want to be a waiter. He became like a catering captain. Then eventually became like an events planner. Then eventually was hired at the Mondrian as like an events coordinator, like manager coordinator.
Got it.
And he was like, you suck at your job, but you're fun to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, do you want a job at the Chateau Marmont? And like, that's how I got the gig.
Nice.
One of the best jobs I've ever worked.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
Why?
It was just mayhem. It was like, first of all, the money was good because I was like, oh, I'm getting paid $25 an hour. Like, fuck
That's
yeah.
pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, and also like the clientele's crazy,
Yeah.
right?
A lot of celebrities rolling in and out of there.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I worked signed an NDA like years ago, but I just won't say
Just breaking
names.
laws left and right. Let's talk some shit about some celebrities, dude.
Yeah.
I won't
What's the
say any
tea?
names, but it was like, so I worked the Jay-Z and Beyonce Oscars after party.
Oh my
No
god.
way.
dude.
Like,
Oh my God.
yeah, it's the gold party.
Yeah,
So,
so
they
everyone.
decked out the
Yeah.
garage at the chateau. It looked like, I can't remember exactly what the theme was, but it was like New York in the 70s. There's like these gorgeous muscle cars and like
Oh my God.
neon signs and stuff. Like they somehow made like this like mini window delivery pizza shop situation. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Like
That sounds so fun.
They definitely didn't skip out on the decor. And I remember that night was like we showed up to work at 7 p.m. I didn't leave until like 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And so we show up they take our phones, they put them in bags and in lockers away from any access from us. And it's at first it starts off like whatever. And I'm just tray passing most of the night. And then, you know, you see all these crazy, like A-list, like the Kanyes, the Kardashians, like fucking Wolfgang Puck chopping it up with like French Montana. And shit.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Timothy Chalamet's just like kicking it with Adele. And I'm just like, would you like a chopped cheese? And I'm just like walking around. And then eventually like all the staff is just like, first of all, like no one gives a fuck what we're handing out.
Yeah.
Like we're in management, it's like the property's too big for management to really keep an eye out on.
It's just turned into a party.
So then, you know, we just have this like one guy that's like, hey, I grabbed one of the bottles of like champagne because you know Jay-Z owns the champagne company.
Yeah.
So there's just bottles of champagne everywhere. So then we just start drinking. Then all of a sudden, like we're just getting like super fucked up, and like I'm unbuttoning my fucking shirt. And I'm just like, I'm not even handing out shit. I'm just like, let's go back to the party. And I'm just like talking to like, there's a moment where I just remember I'm like drunk as fuck. And Timothy Chalamet's like, dude, I like your uniform, man. And I'm like, dude, I like your movies, man. And we're just like hanging out, just kicking it. And I'm like sitting down at one point. I'm just sitting down. And yeah, we're all just fucked up.
Yeah.
And then next thing we know, it's like 7 a.m. I stole this like
Classic.
3-liter Magnum bottle of champagne. I'm like walking out, fucked up, like with this bottle as if I'm hiding it well. And then we just ended up at Mel's Diner.
Oh my God, there you go.
At like 8, 9 a.m. Like the staff, and we're all like, what the fuck happened? Just fucking our pockets are full of just like cash tips.
That's so fun.
Yeah. It was a good time. Best job ever.
So how long were you there?
I mean, I was there probably like 6 months.
Oh,
Then the
whoa.
pandemic hit.
Oh, damn. God,
Yeah.
that fucked
Dang.
Dude,
everything
I was
up.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, that job is sick.
Yeah.
But the pandemic hit.
So what were you doing then? Just kind of like hanging like everyone else, waiting for the
you
next
know,
thing?
Let's go to, let's be sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Is
It's a
that
bummer.
when you started doing some videos?
So that's when I
Yeah.
get onto TikTok.
Yeah.
And
I know. I feel like everyone joined
Just
TikTok
download
We
at
all
the beginning
clocked
of the
in
pandemic.
hours.
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was so against it
Yeah.
for the longest time. Because social media for me was like whatever.
Yeah.
But then during the pandemic, I'm like, I got nothing else to do, man.
Yeah.
Start seeing all these cooking videos. I'm like, this is soothing to
Mm-hmm.
my
Yeah.
soul. And I grew up watching like Emerald Lagasse and Rachel Ray, and like I've always kind of liked watching cooking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and so then I'm like, eventually, why don't I just fucking teach myself how to cook?
Exactly.
Wow.
And I just started sort of cooking here and there. And my roommates at the time, I was still on the couch. They're like, eventually, after a lot. So I would just get up off my couch. I'm like, all right, time to.
Was it
time to
always
prep.
the same couch, or did you ever replace
No, it was the
it?
same couch. It's horrible.
Oh my
There's
God.
like this dip like halfway through.
Yeah.
So I'm just like sleeping like this. And my back's fucked. I'm still in pain. And I started like cooking, and my roommates at the time, they're like, hey, this is not complete shit.
Yeah.
If we'll pay for ingredients if you cook.
Oh my
sick.
God.
So I became this like quasi
chef.
private chef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then eventually, once like the cooking was like a little bit stronger in cooking, my friends were like, dude, you should film this and you should post it and do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day I'm watching Bob's Burgers and I'm like, I'm gonna be the moody foodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell
And
yeah.
that's
So, did you have like a certain type of food that you like to cook, or was it really just like anything that sounded good? You were like, let me try.
So I think I definitely bite more than I can chew whenever I start a new creative project.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, started teaching myself how to paint at like 5.
Yeah.
And I'm a maniac, dude. And I would print out pictures of the Mona Lisa.
Oh
and
my
try to like recreate it with like Crayola watercolors. And I'd be like
What?
crumbling the paper. I'm like, fuck, back to the drawing board. I'm just like, God damn it. I'm like, Mom, like, stop, I'm working. I'm smoking a cigarette. So that similar behavior.
Yeah.
So I'm like 22 at the time, I think.
Yeah.
Barely teaching myself how to cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching Chef's Table.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
Learn a
need to do
lot.
Michelin star shit.
Yeah.
So I got like really
my
like I'm
God.
just like making foams and shit. It
Oh
tastes
my,
like, It tastes
really?
like garbage. And it's also not even foamy; it's flat. As fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm like aiming for Michelin
Yeah.
star
Yeah.
stuff. So I started watching all this like French technique stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just really shooting for the stars. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I can
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm gonna make like Yeah, more humble food.
Yeah.
All right, so we're talking about chefing it up with 4 roommates, I guess, or 3, or 2 to 3.
At that time, we narrowed it down to only 3 of us total,
Not bad.
which is pretty good.
So
Yeah,
one
that was
on
a
the
good time.
floor, one on the couch, one in the bed.
Yeah.
Who was okay with sleeping on the floor for this long?
It was this guy that he was just like, I prefer a firm surface. I'm like, okay. And honestly, I would have rather had the floor because I'm telling you, that couch
is bad.
fucked, dude.
Yeah.
No support.
Did you guys pay? Did someone pay like $5 more for the?
we're like doing the accounting, like, wow, but just like, dude, I deserve a discount.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my rent I think at the time was like $350. And I was
Oh.
like,
$350.
barely being able to pay it.
Wow, I can see why you would stay though, even if you're making a bunch of money, like, or doing better
Yeah.
at some of these jobs, because then you actually have a little
Well,
bit
to
of
me,
cash.
like my whole philosophy was like, if I decrease the amount I have to pay for like the living expenses, then I increase the amount of time I get to be a
Right.
degenerate
True.
or like pursuing the craft or whatever it was, right?
Right.
So I was like, fuck it. And also like at the time when I was like in high school, I was like, oh, I love like the turn of the century vibe of like Coco Chanel and Picasso
So
hanging
moody,
out,
dude.
you know, like just hanging out in bordellos, drinking wine and smoking hashish. And so I'm like, I'm basically doing that right now, like all these artists. And so I'm just like, oh no, I don't need high cost of living. So thank God I was a douchebag back then.
No
It saved me
wonder
a lot
you're
on
the
rent
moody
over the
foodie.
years. So that was good. That was a good.
Yeah.
I think a financially wise choice.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable as fuck though.
Yeah.
Did you start like getting views quickly on these videos when you were doing them? Like, did it blow up pretty fast, or did it take a little bit?
So when I was like first filming, I think it was like my 5th video
Yeah, popped.
that popped off.
Yeah.
I remember it was crazy. I made this this French poached pear recipe, and I remember. So I was like I had posted 4 videos before that, and I was texting my friends back home like, is it weird that like I'm just like especially because like for the past 6 years I've been saying like I'm gonna be an actor guy
Yeah.
on Instagram, right? So now all of a sudden I'm cooking.
Yeah.
And so I was like, is it weird that I'm making these cooking videos, whatever? One of my best friends growing up, known this guy since like we're 5, Colin. I'm texting him and he's like, dude, just do your thing. Like, this is great. Like, we're in a fucked up situation globally. Like, this is amazing.
Perfect time to
Yeah.
like, give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember I was like, all right. So I post that poached pear recipe. Dude, the next morning, my phone's like burning hot and malfunctioning.
Yeah.
Just because of like notifications.
Oh my god.
And I'm like,
was
what
this
the
on TikTok or Instagram?
It was on TikTok.
Yeah.
So I look at all of a sudden, like I had like, I don't know, 17 followers on TikTok. I have 35,000 now.
Whoa.
Oh, hell yeah.
35,000
35,000.
overnight?
35,000.
No way.
And so I'm like, what the fuck? And then just like thousands of comments I'm like, I guess I should start answering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was like this crazy, such a piece of shit. I remember like my initial reaction was like, let's celebrate. It's like 10 a.m. I'm like cracking open. Like I go to the liquor store down the street.
Oh my
I was
God.
living at in North Hollywood at the time. I'm like, this is an excuse to day drink.
I'm famous now.
I'm just like laying on my couch, like sipping on like champagne, just like
35,000
thank you
followers.
so much for the love. Like just a real piece of shit. And my roommates are like wake up, and I'm just like, excuse me, may someone fetch me a cup of coffee, please? And it just really got to my head immediately. Yeah, but it was a good fucking time. I was
But then, like, I always feel like
I love that.
when someone has a video pop off like that, it's like that's when things get scary because it's like
You gotta keep
now
up.
you feel the pressure to keep up. Yeah, and especially
Yeah.
with TikTok, like even if you have a million followers, you can get like still like 1,000 views on a video. or
Shadow
something.
ban
Yeah.
somehow. Yeah.
But
that's
then-
what we're working with now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you hit limits, then it'll. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So I don't
That's something you gotta learn, though.
But you're right though, because like that, like after that morning, like that during that week, I'm just like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
what is this now, right? I'm like, oh fuck, like this can be a business.
Yeah.
And I'm a violently uneducated man, and I'm like, okay, so how do we
Violently
make monies off of
uneducated.
this? and at first it's like it's sick, 'cause it's like wow, this attention is kind of nice.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I should make another video. I was
Yeah.
like the first day, I should go to the grocery store. I need to stop drinking.
Yeah.
I need to start filming. And so I just started like doing the same thing, and there was like a consistency, and dude, I've just been so fucking lucky, dude.
Yeah.
My whole
No,
life. 'Cause
I
then
mean-
eventually like managers start hitting me up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
And now I have I had no idea. And my now manager, Ali Wald, who works at DBA, fucking changed my life.
Yeah.
I remember I had like a brand deal with some small brand, and they offered me like $400 to make like 2 cooking videos. I'm like, wow, I can make money. Again, I'm used to like, fucking tips as a waiter. So I'm like, $400 to make an art and craft?
Yeah.
What I've been wanting my whole life. This is crazy. And so then I'm getting, meetings with managers, and I'm like, no thanks, I can get $400 myself. And then I meet with my now manager, Ali Wald.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's a 3-year contract. Like, trust me, like, we like what you do. We don't want you to change who you are, but we can help you. And I'm like, make that 1 year.
Yeah.
I have commitment issues.
Wait, so before
That's not a bad call, though. I mean,
before you even like agree to this, how long after that first video popping off to this happening?
And like
how
other
long was
brand
that?
deals and things.
I want to say it was probably like 3 months.
Oh, that's quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I didn't get like any offers for any money until like probably like 2 months into like making consistent videos. Because honestly, I was just thriving off of
Just
the
followers.
attention,
Yeah.
the following.
I mean,
And
there's
it's
a lot of like
the
excitement.
world's ending, and I'm like,
Yeah.
at least my profile is growing. And I'm like, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go on top, baby. But then eventually, like, people are like, hey, would you like to make a video and we send you a fuck ton of our product?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's cool. And then, like a couple $100, whatever. I think the biggest deal I ever swung was like $1,000. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I used to have to work like hours to get $1,000.
One
Right.
video.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
And I get to just like fuck around.
It's 3 months of rent.
Exactly. Yes. Like, damn, that's 3 months of couch time. That's a whole summer. That's a whole season. So then like Ali Wald hits me up, and I'm I'm like, like I can do this. Maybe I'm down to sign if you like narrow it down to like a year. And so I'm like kind of like being a bag of dicks about it.
A little cautious too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And then she just emails me one day, and she goes, "Hey Fab, seriously, like I really want to work with you. I think we could develop you into something great. I got you a deal, even though we haven't signed. How does this sound?" And I read the email. I'm like, $15,000.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I signed immediately. Sent her like, I'm so sorry, I was a piece of shit. Can we do a 10-year contract, please? And yeah, she literally changed my fucking life.
Amazing.
What was the structure of that deal like?
I haven't read the contract, but I'm sure it's sick. Like, I trust her.
When was that?
That was a couple days before my birthday, 2021.
Got it. When's
So
your
in
birthday?
April 2021.
Okay.
Come on, I thought we knew. It was April 2021, and I was like, dude, this is crazy.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's wild. So, what changed immediately? Like, essentially, she was just getting you a ton more deals and like putting you out there in front of people more.
I think the biggest change that I felt was like, I don't have to deal with emails.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with pitching. I don't have to deal with negotiation.
Yeah.
I just have to do the creative.
Yeah.
Which was like always the dream. Just like
It worked.
be told exactly
Your
just
whole
like,
plan, dude.
Yeah. I don't know how the fuck, man. I'm so thankful for everything. And like ever since I was a little kid, I was like, I just want to like make shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
all I
you
wanna
did
do.
it. I mean, you actually tried to do it, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
there you go.
Yeah. Fuck all the haters.
Yeah.
Fuck all. Fuck.
How many followers on Instagram now?
My high school fucking. My high school counselor. I remember I told him I was like, I want to be an artist. He's like, well, good luck. Like. Not being able, like, basically it was like you're gonna be homeless. Essentially. So fuck you, Wendell Otto, you piece of shit.
Good luck being a school counselor, nerd.
I'm a fucking artist now in Bushwick, dude.
only spent 5 years on a couch.
Yeah, that's all it took.
That's all it took. You were right for a while. But we are in New York City.
Living in Williamsburg too, dude. Doing all right.
Yeah. Whoa. So, how long were you then still in LA during this time? Like after you get a manager and you're making more videos.
Was that?
It was so 2021. And, okay, so around that time, I had left the couch situation, and I was living with two coworkers from Chateau Marmont. The only reason why we got a 3-bedroom in North Hollywood was because of the stimulus checks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And like all these buildings, all these apartment buildings are like, please, anyone can live here.
Uh-huh.
So we came up on top there.
Is this before or after the manager?
So this is before the manager,
Okay.
because I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of the couch.
Got it.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Right.
I am basically rich now because I have stimulus checks and unemployment.
It's a followers on
Yeah.
TikTok.
What were the stimulus checks? Were like $700 a?
Depends on. Well, yeah. But,
Oh.
I don't even know if I filled out the paperwork correctly. There's money.
Yeah.
showed
Yeah.
up. And so I'm living with these two guys in a 3-bedroom. And then the manager happens, and then like the lease situation's up, and that's where I'm like, should I go back home to Portland? Should I go? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, fuck it, dude. Because we used to beef, because like I'd be cooking and filming,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, like, dude, what the fuck?
Like,
It's
I gotta make
fucking
food.
dirty. And I'm like, I'm building a fucking empire. Yeah, like you guys don't understand. I gotta keep up with my fans. And
Were you filming just on an iPhone, or did you have like a?
yeah, I was just on the iPhone.
Yeah.
With the ring light.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great.
Well, you haven't seen the early shit.
Really?
Like, I look back, I'm like, God damn,
Yeah.
I'm not deserving of
Yeah.
any of this. But yeah, well, I'm still actually really good friends with one of those roommates. His name's Parker, and I actually convinced him to move to New York.
Oh,
He's
yeah?
killing it as a comedian. He's a
Oh,
great guy.
nice.
Yeah, he's doing
He's a
good.
comedian? Hell
Yeah,
dude.
he's good.
That's cool.
And but anyway, so I'm like, you know what? I need to get my own apartment. And again, my manager changed my life. I'm like, fuck it, like I think I can get my own apartment now. So I got this like nice little apartment, like kind of behind John and Vinny's on Melrose and Fairfax. And I lived there for a year, and then I visited New York because I was like, I can travel now. Like
For the first time?
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And
No
I was
way.
like, I got money to buy a flight, so I was like, I'm gonna go to New York. Made some friends online, and I met this girl that really liked her. And then when I moved back to LA, I was like, we kind of like started like a long distance thing, and then I was like, fuck it, this is like my reason to like, go to New York. We're not together anymore, but I'm in
She
New
got
York.
you here.
Yeah.
She like expedited the process, and it's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So interesting to see someone who's just only been here for a year, dude, because there's so
I
much
know.
shit going on here all the
It's been,
time.
like, it's been like I think almost 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at what point do you start getting like? Do you get recognized?
In New York, I have been.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where I'm like in a horrendous mood.
Yeah.
I just want
no.
to get like a cup of coffee. And I just get like a
Just
little,
screaming fans.
like a little tap on the shoulder. No, they've all been lovely.
Yeah.
It's like, hi, and I'm just like, what? And I'm like, oh shit. so sorry. Thank you so much. What do you like to eat?
Yeah.
Isn't it
That's
weird talking to
interesting.
people about like, because I feel like you do it at home alone and like that's fine and fun, but then when people start talking about it in public, it sort of feels awkward sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel that way?
Dude, I feel awkward all the time. Like with like events or like I don't know, meeting some people or whatever. It's great though. At the end of the day, it's like I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Like dude, fucking being here right now, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
People want to talk to me about this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
So you like New York then?
I fucking love New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You come back to LA ever? Back to the couch?
I'd go visit.
Yeah.
Dude, I've like thought about just like, could I just like knock on the door and be like, may I take in the space?
Just for old time's sake.
Yeah.
Back couch.
Do you think any of the roommates are still there?
At that apartment, no. Like since
At
like
that
we,
couch.
Back couch. No.
I'm curious. You know what? I'm curious where the couch.
It's a
is.
landfill,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I'm curious where the fucking couch is, and I want to buy it back
Yeah.
and just burn it. You know what I mean? And then send it off, send
Little
its
office
ashes
max
off.
on it,
and-
Yeah.
Or office space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Destroy it.
Oh my
Word.
god.
Okay, so like now you're here doing it, and you seem to be like, I'll go to your Instagram and it's like tons of brand deals, doing very well. It's sick, and then you also have like all these chef friends, like other internet personalities. Like so you cruise around with Rick Martinez at a spot right around the
Yeah.
corner, El Pastor, checking out tacos, and like also just like it seems like you're really well connected. Like how do you kind of manifest that and make it work?
I usually try to hang out with people that have terrible taste in friends.
Yeah.
And then, no, but
Good call coming here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, again, like my manager, like
Yeah.
she is extremely well connected.
Yeah.
And I, believe it or not, can be like a little like shy.
Yeah.
I can be pretty shy with like initiating stuff.
Doesn't seem
I just
that
need to
way
be.
at all.
I know. I need to be thrown into a situation.
Yeah.
And she's just like kind of like, hey, introduce me to some people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hi. And then we just like kind of like hit it off, and But I mean, it's crazy, like the Rick Martinez thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew like.
I was
Not grew up,
cookbook.
but like during the pandemic, especially, it was like
Yeah.
the Bon Appetit crew, right?
Grew up.
Shots, dude?
Line them up.
No, like during the pandemic, which I think, like it was the Bon Appetit crew.
I mean, we all,
dude,
yeah.
Right?
We all know that.
Yeah.
And it was like crazy that day that I'm like hanging out with him and we're eating tacos. I'm like, you know, I'm trying not to be like, hey man, you fucking saved me. You know,
You changed my life, bro.
Yeah.
I straight up, and I'm just like,
Rick's one of the best, dude. Like, I have his
amazing.
cookbook at home. Like, he's like the,
he
he's
knows
the
his shit. He's super fucking sweet. He's super great.
Yeah.
Like real, no,
Just super
amazing
like
guy.
amazing recipes, just in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he really knows his shit.
Who are your like top favorite kind of internet people, cooks, chefs, home cooks?
We're talking about Maddie Matheson.
Yeah.
Before. Love that guy.
Legend.
Just,
Yeah.
if anything, he's like, I don't know. I know like a lot of people will talk about like Julia Child in the sense of like,
Like
hey,
the
it's okay to fuck up.
originator.
It's like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
okay to fuck up.
Yeah.
And I feel like Maddie Matheson is kind of keeping that spirit
Yeah.
alive that I really like.
It's very real.
Exactly,
Like, if he
yeah.
fucks up, they don't cut it and redo it.
right.
Yeah.
And I can get really caught up in like it has to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then I watch Maddie Matheson. He's like, fuck it. And
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck it.
It's a good
you're
Maddie
you're right,
Matheson.
Maddie. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, I love Rick Martinez. Fuck.
I mean, there's so many now.
There's
It's
so fucking
crazy.
many.
Every day I like look online and I'm like, fuck, more competition. Dude. It's
I
like,
know,
Right.
man. And you're just like, oh shit, that guy's like handsome.
I know, they're so good sometimes.
But like younger, and he just has a nicer camera. I'm fucked, dude. I would like text my manager like, it's the end, right? You're gonna drop me for this fucking guy?
How do you feel about like just because social media is so like fickle? It's just like kind of a scary place. As fast as you can like rise, you can fall. Not that that's gonna happen. Not that that's gonna happen to you. Not that that will happen
Shots.
to you. You already have such like a huge base that like I'm sure you're gonna be successful for a long time. But I'm just curious, like if you have thoughts about outside of it, or even like as an extension of it, like something, a project.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, social media, I've even before I started, was never super into it.
Mm-hmm.
Then like now it's my career. Even my manager will be like, "You're like a non-influencer." I'm like,
I'd be like, what's that mean?
no, but she means well because she's like, it's because it's a kind of a game, right? And I guess I just have not been very good at playing the game.
I feel like you
It's a
have
hard
been.
game
Well,
to
but
play.
she's like, yeah, but you're a bit of an enigma because like shit's just working out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, good. Well, let's keep that. Let's
Yeah.
keep doing that. I'm a big fan of traditional media.
Yeah.
I like a book.
Yeah.
I like a show, a movie, whatever it is. Like, I like that. I grew up with that shit. I like that shit. So for me, I'm like, I don't know. I kind of want to get out of the algorithms and stuff. You still have to feed it. You have to
Yeah.
feed it. You have to feed it.
Yeah.
Right? But there's, I think, from like all the other like social media people that I've met, whether they're like restaurateurs, they're authors, whatever it is, there's like this. I spoke to Rick Martinez about this. He's like, there's this level of like legitimacy that kind of like makes you stand out about, even though like people are like books are dead.
Yeah.
But it's like you're published.
Right. Totally.
And,
Validation
It's like,
a little bit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm like, I don't know. I want to work on a book.
Got to, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's so many different there's so many different types of cookbooks from people who are not professional chefs, have not worked in kitchens, are not like classically trained, that are still interesting for like a totally different perspective.
Our last guest, Ham, was doing one based on his perspective on how to shop in a grocery store, which is
I
like
like
something
that.
that people don't really, because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
grew up in Qatar and he's, got a weird background and not weird, just different than most people in America. But
Right.
this is all different ways to attack it. But
Yeah.
I mean,
maybe yours is like canned food and
Yeah.
I think mine
elevated.
would be like a collection of short stories and like a recipe.
Yeah.
That's like, also by the way, like this is what I was eating
Right.
at the time.
just call it how
Yeah.
to cook in a van. dude.
There you go.
Oh fuck, man, the diet in the van. You know what sucks?
Yeah.
It was the worst fucking food because I literally had just this bucket, or not a bucket, but like a tub, like one of those like storage tubs with like, I guess that was my pantry, and it was just like canned tuna, canned chicken, canned vegetable
chicken, oh,
medley,
man.
No.
and then for dessert, I just had
Dessert. Really splurging.
bread with like Nutella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's not bad though, actually.
Dude,
Yeah.
what sucks is this
My
probably isn't going to be
bucket.
very like body positive at all.
Positive.
Yeah, but like during that horrible time of like I got nothing, dude, I looked fucking good.
Skinny.
Just protein and raw vegetables, or like boiled vegetables in a can. I guess.
That's a good diet,
Oh,
really.
it was fucking sick, man. I have to go back
That's so
to that.
funny.
Oh, God.
Okay, well, exciting. And then is there anything else you want to
I mean,
follow you
just follow
where?
me on Instagram if you want.
Yeah.
Instagram,
like-
TikTok. You got a YouTube channel yet?
That's a.
Yeah, you gotta get
I know. I should.
Yeah.
My
That's
a
manager's
lot of
been telling me
work.
for like 2 years, like, hey, so long form. I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Fuck
I mean,
this.
honestly, it's not at long form right now, so
I know everything's like
Yeah.
so short. Yeah. But yeah, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, the Moody Foodie, and if you don't tip at restaurants, fuck you.
Yeah.
period. Hot take. Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Cheers.
Let's rib these bad boys.
Oh yeah.
What's the big deal?
Hey, is this the salad or the soup?
This is the salad.
This is salad. Cheers.
Doing it?
I'll do a little.
Finally.
I just love being a creative in the city.
Pretty fun, right? Who knew this could be work?